and I welcome any new viewers to this channel. Again, my videos are just little nuggets of information for that whoever watches my videos, just give you some information, and the saying goes, food for thought. I try to keep it as short as I can. This one I'm not sure how long this one's going to go. I don't think it's going to go too long, but it might go over my threshold of like, I try not to go over 10 minutes, but this one might. We'll see how that goes. The title is The Messiah's Love, and subtitle is Where is the Love? And from that, when I say Messiah, I'm talking about the Lord Himself, His love, and what it is that He went around preaching and demonstrating when He walked the planet. So, with that being said, I'm going to move ahead. The Messiah's main message and teaching. He spoke about love in the Gospels and other biblical texts often. The key point to Messiah's teachings is the concept of love, both for God and for one's neighbor. He emphasized that love is the greatest commandment and the defining characteristic of His followers. So if you follow Him, if you follow Him, and for people to know you, you have to have that love that He's talking about, and you have to live it and show it. So with that being said, I'm setting this up because you'll see where I'm going with the concept of the love that the Messiah talked about. And do we see it? So in Matthew 22, verse 36 to 40, someone says to the Messiah, "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments depend all the law and the prophets." Then we find in John 13, verse 34 to 35, "A new commandment I give you, that you love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." John 15, 12 to 13, "My command is this, love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down their life for their friend." Another one he's got, 1 John 4, 7 to 8. It says, "Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God." This is the main one I want everyone to pay attention to. Love is from God, and whoever loves has been born of God and knows God. If you love, you've been born of God and you know God. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. Now, what I find is love is lacking from all three religions that claim to be worshiping the God of Abraham. And they claim to have a connection, either biological or grafted in, however, a connection to the God of Abraham. Abraham, the man who was a very peaceful man. There's no part in the Bible where I read where Abraham committed any atrocities or tried to harm anyone, other than when he got directions from God about his son and God stopped him. But other than that, Abraham has not caused any harm to anyone, and he didn't instruct anyone to cause any harm to anyone. At least I don't recall. If I am incorrect, please put the scriptures in the comments so I know I was incorrect with that. So, what has the world seen from these three religions? The three religions are Islam, Christianity, and modern day Zionist Judaism. Here's what we've seen from these three religions. We see capturing of lands with other people already living on it. We see pillaging and stealing other people's resources. And we've seen enslaving and killing people using their religious ideology in the name of God. This you can stop the video and read this, but I want to just show you from these three religions. This is all stuff I've researched and it's all out there. I didn't make a thing up. These three religions in their history up until today, this is what we've got from them. Genocide. Where is genocide? They're just killing, genocide. Killing of people. Just going in and taking people's land and killing people and forcing people to convert and doing all these things. Now, I've specifically said Zionist Judaism because this is what this is from the past and this is currently what's happening. But something happened in a surrounding at church that prompted me to do this video because of what those people were saying, and I'm thinking, wow, something is off. So that is why I'm doing this video. That's one of the reasons I'm doing this video. Because you still have many people who consider themselves Christian have this ideology that it's okay to do what is happening currently in Israel. There are many people who think it's, many Christians who think it's okay. Let me move on. So I find these three religions, before I go to the slide, I went too fast. These three religions, they claim they're of God, which based on my previous slide, is this the second, but back here, if you're of God, you demonstrate love. If you don't know how to love, you're not from God. You're not of God. And I'm talking about the religious ideology and people who buy into the ideology, because I'm not saying every single believer in these religions operate like that. They don't. But I'm talking about who buy into, this is for the ones who buy into the ideology of what these three religions have done and are still doing. This is what I'm talking about. And it's a conversation that needs to be had, right? And we need to be truthful. I'm calling the spade as I see it. I'm calling the spade the spade. What these people have done in the name of God is not demonstrating any form of love. So I have to wonder what's going on. Now I'm going to contrast these three religions with three other religions that do not make any connection to Abraham. And again, I have no issues with the man Abraham, a loving, God-fearing man, absolutely. But I don't know how Abraham would feel knowing that there are three groups of people using his name and doing what they're doing in the name of God. That's where I'm coming from with that. This peaceful man. We're talking about a man who tried to save Sodom and Gomorrah by negotiating with God. Negotiating, if I find one righteous, if I find two, can you spare them? This is the man, that's a peaceful man. He wasn't about, but you know what? God, when God does what God does, he does it. God used other prophets to, if he wants to take out a people, he will use a spokesperson that he directs and he gives them his instructions to do it. If there's no spokesperson, without any destruction, without any guidance from God, I'm sorry, it's not from God, it's from man. It's man's ideology, man's plan, man doing what man wants to do out of greed, out of selfishness, out of evil. It's not out of love. Now there are three religions here. We have three religions, and guess what? Guess what? The interesting thing about these three religions who don't connect themselves to Abraham, three very peaceful religion, peaceful, loving people who practice these religions. They are considered non-violent, non-violent, not a violent religion. They to me seem like they're operating under what Jesus told the other religions who they claim to be followers of, the first three that I talk about. It's interesting that I think these three and other peaceful Eastern religions are actually doing what the Lord asked them to do. Love, love people and cause no harm. Because I find if you're okay with what is happening currently in Israel, something is not right. Something is not right. I'm going to leave you with a whole bunch of scriptures that you can stop the video, check them out, and go read them yourself. But just, I highlight all many times the word love. This is all about love. And there's actually way more. I just didn't want to put all this in the video. There's tons more on the teachings of love from the Messiah and love in the scriptures, which is what we ought to live by. We ought not to do what we're seeing done right now by the Zionist Jewish group and to another. And the interesting, they're doing it to another group of people who claim to be from Abraham. And then the Christian, many of the Christians are in agreement with it. Not right. So I had to do this video after a conversation I had with some Christians. And they were telling me what's happening in Israel is perfectly fine because it's survival of the fittest. So hearing words out of the mouth of people who are supposed to show love made me wonder, what's going on here? That doesn't sound like love. Survival of the fittest is words I would expect to hear from people who don't have any connections to God, atheists, people who don't have any connections to any of those three religions, who can claim they are the ones worshiping the true and living God. But according to the teacher of Jesus, he says, if you worship my God, you demonstrate love, not hate, not killing, not pillaging, not genocide. You don't demonstrate that. So if you are worshiping the God of the Messiah, the anointed Jesus, and you're doing what you're doing, you got to think again. If that's okay with you, you got to think again. So they said it was survival of the fittest. So what they're saying to me is, it's if because you have the bigger weapons and you have the might, it is okay for you to come and take what belongs to someone else and kill them and do with them what you'd like to do. So that's no different from parents abusing little children because they have the power and the might to do that, or any bullying another person because they have the power and the strength and the might to do that. Well, if you're doing that, you have no love in you. I'm sorry, I'm going to call the spade the spade. You don't have love. And I'm sorry if you believe these things are okay to do, one, without God's prophet directing it, and God's prophet saying, I've been given the mandate to do this. If you don't have that righteous prophet of God to say this is okay, you can't be in agreement with it if you're a child of God. So for me, what is happening in there is very wrong. It is very wrong, and it is not of God. I'm just gonna say it as I believe. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Based on the words of the Lord, I can't be wrong because he says you show love. You don't harm. So I'm now going to just end this video by leaving you with this. What the world needs is love. God is love based on the scriptures. If you have love, you have God. If you don't have love, he doesn't know you. You do not have God in you. You got something else, but it's not God. It's not God. If you don't have love for God, your fellow human, and yourself. Love is what sets you apart from the rest of the world. If the rest of the world wants to do their madness, you can't be okay with it. Whether you can't be okay with evil. And this is not anything that anybody going in and taking what doesn't belong to them. If you go and take someone's stuff, it's like you saying, I bring my relative in my house and then they want to push me out and keep my house. That's not right. That's not right. And it says, I'm going to leave you with, love is the golden rule. Treat others as you would want to be treated and do no harm. I'll end the video here and I thank you for watching.